We initially thought there was just two armies, the Wildlings and the Boltons, but it turned out there were factions within each. And so we ended up having to make each of those factional armies as well. And we had to make variations for each of those guys. But we didn't make, say, 20 of this kind of army person and 20 of that one. We made sort of a fewer, but we made lots of different hairstyles and different outfits, and we randomly populated, or we could pick and choose those things to make many, many more. One of the things you notice with animation is you need to animate the bones of the animal, but inside of something like a horse, which has got it's got so many tendons and so many muscles that are exposed and visible. As soon as a horse jolts or jars, you expect to see the muscles tense, you expect to see that jiggle, the fat moving around, all those sorts of things. So to make photoreal or believable animation, we needed to incorporate all that as well. So we did a muscle system that we put inside the horses. There's not the same in the riders, they needed less of that kind of control. And we did a thing called a range of motion, where we got the horses and we moved each limb through all its different positions with that muscle system, and then we snapshotted those shapes, and then we used that as a blend shape to drive pose-driven stuff, so that we didn't need to have a complex muscle system in every horse all the time. We leveraged what we learnt from that and we put that into the rig. There was very little actual dirt being kicked around by the real horses. If you see the footage of the horses, you'll see that they're stomping on dirt and just tiny little clods come up. But we needed the whole thing to feel messy and dirty, so we had massive libraries that we'd constructed of dirt systems that we just could throw in from the side of frame, like throwing buckets of dirt in front of the lens, you know, digital dirt, as well as stuff that was coming dynamically off the horses' hooves. They had a lot of Atmos, a lot of smoke machines on set, but we added a lot more Atmos as well to sit our characters into the same scene. My role as kind of a creative lead of a smaller animation company turned into being a supervisor of a film company. So it sort of morphed that way. And really, when I started doing what I do, this role didn't exist particularly. So I was just standing there and it happened, you know. Well, I keep telling people I can teach anybody how to use 3D software, but I can't teach them how to be an artist. And I think study, I think observation, I think film literacy, I think all that sort of stuff is vitally important. I wouldn't be in such a hurry to run to the tools to solve something. I actually say to people when they've got a problem with the way something's shot, I'll say, well, how would Hitchcock have done it? Because he didn't have the tools we had, but he was, you know, hailed as a genius, I guess. So, or any of those guys, you know, how would they have solved it laterally? So, being an artist is terribly important, and then the digital stuff can follow on after that.